CC on the track. Yo, CC, I honestly did not know that you had
That talented.
Yeah, you're talented, bro.
Oh yeah, I've been singing for a while.
She's getting so good at rebuttals already.
Honestly, a very good singer.
Uh-oh. Yeah, we're gonna have to see about that. Ladies and gentlemen, Jose, what episode are we on today, Jose? What episode is this?
This is guy. Sorry, Stanley.
Stanley calling you. We at the pod.
He took my car keys. By mistake. This is episode 49.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah,
all right.
Episode 49.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 49 of Tequila Thursday. This evening, we are going to jump into the psychology of the close, how to turn hesitation into a yes. I am your host, Darryl Mills. To my left, I have
Jose Martinez, business development over at Fun Rock Capital, Lendmate Capital as well. This lovely young lady does not need an introduction, but to my left, we have
CC, the funding manager. Sorry, I'm really bad at the intro. I hate the intro so much. Sorry, guys.
It's all good. It's all good. It's only going to get better. And to my right, I know that you guys rarely see him on camera, but you could definitely see him in Queens with some hookah. You know, a lot of lovely young ladies around. To my right, I got the infamous.
I got Jonathan, specialist.
You know what? I think I'm gonna start doing everybody's intro for them because y'all be dropping the ball.
I missed the alley oop there.
It's all good. It's all good. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So we're gonna do Tequila Thursday. Tonight we're gonna be diving deep into, like I said before, the psychology of the close. It's where deals are won or lost. Not just in the paperwork, not in the pricing, but in the pause. The best brokers, they know that hesitation really isn't rejection. It's more of an opportunity. Tonight, we're going to be breaking down how to turn that moment into, pretty much your strongest close.
Yes, I mean, that's very important because hesitation from a client or even from yourself when you're on the phone speaking to a client and you don't know how to properly answer a question, it can create I would say the client can actually be put off, right, by something like that. Or if the client doesn't have the correct information as well, that you can take that and use that to your advantage because the client, now that the client really may not understand the process or know exactly what's available to him or her. So that's the purpose of the pause, right? Which is there's a lot of different things that you can take from that, whether it's the pause or hesitation on your side or pause and hesitation on the client side.
And you know what, Jose, that's would you say that pause or like that awkward silence I guess like if you guys have watched any sales movie, they say like the weakest person speaks first or something like that. Correct. So like if you get your pitch out and not really your pitch because you want them to answer when you say your initial pitch, but like if you're actually presenting them with terms or something like that, and you say it and you just stop talking, you have to give them a chance to speak first and say something back, right?
Correct. Because sometimes what happens is whoever's on account executive, sales representative, whatever it is that you call yourself with your title, what happens majority of times is sometimes you just speak too much.
Yeah.
Right. And I've seen deals die because you don't give the client the chance to give you feedback, right? Because you're so excited to present an approval or present something to him or her, the client, where that pause is very important, right? Hey, Mr. Jones, listen, I have this, and this for you. What do you think? Right? And then allow the client to respond back. You don't always have to just go straight through, because sometimes you can kill a sale by doing that. Less is more sometimes.
I want to go down. I want to go down the line really quick and ask everybody, like, what's the longest pause that you guys have had on the phone, just like that awkward silence, and you made them speak first? I'll go first. The longest pause that I've ever had after presenting terms was close to a minute. It was like either like 45 or like 50 seconds of just straight like, hey, listen, your weekly payment's going to be this. Does that work for you?
Yeah.
Fucking awkward silence, you know what I mean? And listen, it's a little uncomfortable at first because you want to know what they're thinking, but they're thinking. Let them get their thought out because the process, because then the whatever they respond next is going to tell you or give you info on how you maybe need to adjust the deal, move it to a different lender, or maybe just
I might just say, okay.
yeah, okay,
Okay, no problem. And you're like, wait,
yeah,
all right.
all right, cool. Josh, let's wait, check. Now, what about you? What about you, Jose? What's the longest you had?
Honestly, I've never timed it. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. But one of the things that I do, it's even when I first started off, is I go into this. I love the movie Boiler Room, right? And I always, whenever I'm on the phone with the client, I just think of that episode or that scene where the guy yelled Recco, right? Vin Diesel comes in and he comes in and is on the phone with the client, and then he's pausing, right? He'll give him an answer, etc. Then I guess in a way he did the takeaway, and then just paused, and then the client's like, okay, but why can I get more? Right? Why can I not purchase more? Why can I not get more stock options or whatever it was that they were selling? But no, I don't really know the time frame of the pause because I've never really timed it. But what I do is I do have a pause, but I try to go into that scene for Boiler Room. Yep.
Yellow?
Definitely not as long as yours, but pause. But definitely like around 10, 15 seconds. And I almost broke the silence too. It's
awkward. It's awkward.
Yeah, it's really uncomfortable when you present the terms and it's like, what are they thinking? Like, are they gonna bite or not?
Yeah.
10, 15 seconds, I would say about that.
Okay.
CC?
So I don't really know a time frame of like a hesitation, but I did want to add on to this conversation and say that I am not really afraid of hearing a no or any form of rejection. In fact, like I think it's kind of exciting to have someone who is more combative and knows what they're, talking about, because isn't it way more exciting to like earn a win versus like that client who's like, "Oh, I'll take anything," and you get approval and then it's easier. Like I think it's a lot more exciting to flip the narrative.
And it's just, I agree with you 100% because it's for me at least is, I guess, presenting enough information that made you see the situation, or because it's not a sale, see the situation in a different perspective, right? For me, that's my high. That's my high. Being able to go ahead and present information to you where now you see it from a different perspective and you see it as an added value or a benefit that you did not see before.
Yeah, I would rather somebody, give pushback than for them just to say not interested and hang up the phone, right? If they're staying on the phone, then they're at least interested to get they're interested for you to go ahead and present them maybe something better or understand their needs a little better, but they want something, or less they would just hang up the phone, right?
Exactly.
Because I've had it the other way around. I've had it like I presented the terms and not interested, click. You know what I'm saying? So if it's an awkward silence and somebody's staying on the phone, I'm like, all right, well, at least I'm still in the game a little bit.
That's why you never hang up. You let them hang up.
That's it. All right, Jose. Before we go ahead and jump into segment one, let's go ahead and cheers.
Yes.
Cheers.
I think Cece was trying to jump in. You want to stand up for a little bit?
No, wait, sorry.
There you go.
Cece's like below the mic.
I'm already really short.
There you go. All right, you guys, cheers.
That's to everyone as well. Happy Tequila Thursdays.
Yeah, those are.
Cheers, everyone. Before we get started, right?
Shout out to our boy Joey G that's off the camera right now. Shout out Joey G. Wow. All right, Jose, take us away.
Joey the painter.
All right. So, like we said before, so today's first segment is going to be the moment of hesitation, right? Every client has a hesitation moment, right? Whether it comes from fear, whether it comes from confusion, or whether it actually comes from lack of trust, right? And one more thing I want to add too, there is just lack of knowledge, education of the product. So that's very important. It's in today's day, especially in sales, the type of sales that we do, it's all about information. Information comes first, right? Because like I always say, someone can fact check you on their phone, right? Yeah. All they have to do is go to Google and whatever question or ChatGPT and ask, hey, is this correct? Or hey, provide me the answer to this, and this. But yes, that's very important is education as far as knowing the product, so that you're able to present it to the client efficiently and with actual facts.
You know what? I want to pose another question. And again, you guys that are watching us, feel free to go ahead and chime in or type in the chat whatever you guys want to say. But I want to go down the line, and Yella, I want to start with you first, because I believe that a hesitation tactic that the borrowers or the potential clients use sometimes is they say, I need to think about it. And I think that's like the ultimate, I think that's the ultimate stall tactic, right, Jose? I need to think about it. Yella, what are some of the things, or what's one rebuttal that you say when someone says, I need to think about it?
I mean, what is it to think about? I already got you the offer that you were looking for.
Oh,
First of all, from the beginning, from the first call, I already pre-qualified them. So it's just like I'm not presenting an offer that they weren't looking for to begin with. So once I present that offer, it's like, what is there to think about? I already got you the money you were looking for, the term you were looking for, at the rate you were looking for. I mean, you can't hesitate when it comes to, like, you already have the opportunity in front of you. You got to take it.
That's you know what, I gotta clap that up. I don't know if he's able to go clap it up. He didn't hit the button, but clap. You gotta hold it now. There you go. Clap it up. Actually, the reason why I say that, Jonathan, is because I know for you, you've actually evolved into doing that, right? You were in the back office, and you actually did it a little bit backwards, right? You were in the back office, you understood the product, you had to learn the product, and then you went into sales. And even when you were in sales, it took you a little bit of time to
get adjusted.
Correct. And understand that majority of the time, it's not what the client wants, it's what the client can qualify for. And by you setting the proper expectations from the initial call, you now have the ability to set proper expectations. But when you're on the phone with the client, that's why it's easy. It's simple. Hey, Bob, you told me this is what you were looking for. I told you this is what you qualify for. What is it that you have to think about? Or if you have something to think about, what is it, so that I can help you make the actual educated decision, right? So that the client doesn't just go away.
One of the things that I usually say to people, if they say, whoever I'm speaking to, if they say, I need to think about it. The first thing well, first off, what that means to me is that they don't want it. Like that's it. Because if they wanted it, they would say something else, right? But if they say I need to think about it, listen, chances are once you get off the phone with them, they're never going to pick up your phone call again. Yeah. That's almost like a 9 times out of 10 thing. So just like Jonathan said, you don't let them off the phone. First thing I say is, okay, well, listen, I don't know what it is to think about. I just told you the deal. You probably didn't even write it down. There's something that you don't like about it. Just tell me right now, because I know once you have the phone, I'm never going to talk to you again. They're going to start dodging your calls. People don't really like confrontation, right? So if they tell you no, and they say, I need to think about it, and you say, oh, okay, well, yeah, talk to you later. The next time you call, that guy's not going to pick up the phone and tell you that he's not interested. He's not going to tell you again.
He's blocked you.
Yeah, he's already telling you that he doesn't want it by him saying, I need to think about it.
Correct.
Never in the history of sales has anybody ever said, I need to think about it, and they called you back and says, all right, I'm ready to take it. It just doesn't happen. You know what I mean? So them saying that they don't want it, them saying they're not interested is almost like the same thing as them saying, I need to think about it. I think it's the same right. Two. I think the two are aligned. But then, go right. Listen, what is it going to take to get this deal done? What don't you like about what I presented to you? If you guys are in the merchant cash advance space, or if you guys are in revenue-based funding, maybe that guy wanted a monthly payment option. You told him that the best he could qualify for was going to be a weekly, and then you come back and it's a daily payment. Yeah. Right? And usually that's like the biggest objection. But something that I've been telling people is this: hey, listen, you didn't qualify for a weekly because your average daily balance is a little bit low. Average daily balance, ladies and gentlemen, in case you guys are new, average daily balance is how much the business on average keeps in their bank account per day on a monthly basis, right? So their average daily balance is usually, if you want to qualify for weekly payments, you have to at least average like $1,500 has to be your average daily balance. The reason why is because it's one lump sum payment at the end of every week, right? If it's anything less than that, you're probably going to just get a daily payment because you can't handle that one lump sum at the end of the week. But what I've been recently saying, Jonathan and Cece, maybe so you guys can pick this up too, is I just like as if we get like a $3,000 credit card approval, we tell them, hey, listen, this is a starter program. I mean, you were going to get declined. I was able to fight and get you approved for $3,000. Yeah. That's what I started saying about daily payments. But hey, listen, weekly payments, I don't even talk about dailies anymore. Like when I'm on the phone, like, listen, you're not going to get a monthly. Best case scenario you'll get is weekly. I don't even talk about dailies anymore because people go, oh, I don't want daily. No, best case scenario you're going to get is a weekly payment. And then if it does come back in as daily, but hey, listen, your weekly payment would have been this, and look at your average daily balances. You would have bounced payment number one.
That's fabulous.
I already stole that.
That was a new one.
I've used that in the past already.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No. But listen, that's fire. And that kind of breaks their guard down a little bit more. It's like, hey, listen, you were gonna get declined, because the weekly payments you can't handle it. So what I was able to do is I was able to break that weekly payment down into 5 installments, Monday through Friday, no holidays, no weekends. But it's about breaking down that barrier. You can already kind of guess, depending on the product. I don't know what you guys are selling out there. Depending on the product that you guys sell, why would they not want to take the deal that if they're looking for $20,000 and we get to a $20,000 approval, why would they not want to take it? Probably something that has to do with the payment, right? So it's just about breaking down that wall right away. Hey, Bob, listen, you wanted 20K, got your 20K. What do you not like about the deal? Is it the payment? Probably 9 times out of 10 is going to say yes, and then you just have to work the deal, try to get a longer term, drop down the dollar amount. We never lower points over here. We're gonna get at least our 10 points on every single deal. I don't really let these guys drop points because their payment doesn't change much, but our commission changes drastically.
Right.
Their weekly payment will drop like $50, and our commission will probably drop like $4,000 on some deals. It just doesn't make sense. But Jose, what do you usually say when someone says, I need to think about it?
Similar to what you said, just identify the problem. What is it that you have to think about? Allow me to go ahead and give you the answer that you are probably going to go ahead and think about later on. What questions did you have? What questions did I answer? What is the hesitation? Or if I can restructure this deal, right? What does it look like to you? And then it's just going back and laying down the facts. You want a monthly payment, Bob? Barrier entry for some of these programs that are monthly, 680 plus credit score. Now let's go over your credit report. Let me tell you why you can't do it. Right. One of the things Daryl mentions a lot is, hey, listen, Bob, you I'm sure you're shopping. I'm sure you receive these calls on a day-to-day basis. Why do you think everyone is offering you the same product or the same option? Because you potentially probably don't qualify for something else.
Oh, you listening to me, huh?
I got a supervisor.
It's pretty good.
And that's just it, right? It's just laying down the facts. It's what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So, Bob, if you're submitting your docs, 4-month statements, your credit score is not up to par, and you're getting the same approval amount, you're getting the same dollar amount.
So you qualify for cap.
Correct. That's it. You trust me, because you don't think that people want to give you more money. They'll make more money. Right. Another thing Daryl always says. I've been listening. You know what? It's Bob. You don't think I want to give you $100,000 instead? I'm giving you $10,000. I mean, trust me. Our interests are aligned. I want to give you as much money as possible, but you have to qualify. Right. Once you rip that Band-Aid off, now they're more transparent. They're okay. You know what? Bring them down to to your level of understanding, and then explain to them what's going to set you apart from everyone else is presenting them a roadmap. Okay, you're here now, but this is how we can get you to the next level. These are the programs that I offer at the next level. So let's go ahead and fulfill the immediate need now, and work on a plan in order for you to become bankable, right? Similar to what Mike did for a client. A client had 2 positions, did not want to cash advance. But the client had a great credit score. His problem was utilization. So what did he do? He took out a cash advance only for the dollar amount that he needed to pay down the credit cards. Paid off his credit cards. Utilization is going to drop down. His credit score increases, but most importantly, it's already there, but the utilization drops down to the number that we needed, and now he's becoming bankable. Right.
And now once his credit report updates like around Thanksgiving, we'll be able to go ahead and put him into a traditional program, and then hopefully he'll get his money before the end of the year.
Which is what he wanted.
And that's what he wanted. Yep.
Right. Now,
you want Cece?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think you guys did
Cece, you never let people off the phone. I mean, I swear.
I think you guys did a really good job at covering everything I would say, but I'm really big on staying on the phone.
Yeah.
Regardless, like I think that in the moment I would definitely ask them like, what part are you unsure about? And I would, stay and wait for them to elaborate on why. And I mean, I'm gonna fight to the end. I'm gonna stay on the phone. Like you're gonna have to drag me off the phone.
Yeah.
To get off the phone. Like and like I'm okay with the no, but I'm gonna pull out every reason why you don't like something. So
I know by the end of the call they're like, all right, fine, just take my October statement.
Yep. One of the things that I did.
Shout out to Dre 10. Dre 10 in the chat said happy to be here. Shout out to Dre.
Nice. One of the things that Cece did do, which I pointed out last time, was I guess the client wanted to get off the phone with you, right? Yeah. She said, "Oh wait, hold on, 2 more minutes," and it just kept back to the question, and then one more minute. You know, and it was just getting that the information that you wanted, right? She did not give up. And I think a lot of people should take that into consideration when you're speaking to someone. Sometimes you just need, right? Fill out the application for the client. Don't just give it to them. Fill it out for them, and that's what she did by the end of the call.
Always do. That is like my goal. Whenever I get on the phone, I'm like, I want to fill out the application, because while I do trust people to fill out the application when I email it, I'm very urgent, and I don't like a lack of urgency. So when I'm on the phone, my goal is to fill out the application with the client, just because it's faster, it's quicker, and they always say time kills all deals, and I'm really big on that too. So I'm like, I want to be the first one to get it submitted before anyone else can. So that's really why I do that.
Yeah.
It's
a competitive game. It's my training, guys. It's my training.
Yeah, I know. You know what? Listen, I know we have like a bunch of talking points tonight, but I just want to. I don't think it's been a while since we've had 4 MCA people on one panel. So I just want to really listen. If you guys are here for mortgages and real estate, I don't think this is going to be the pod for you. We are all about business funding tonight. We got some sharks up here, so I really want to pick your brains a little bit, because I want to get better, and my goal is to learn something new every day, especially in this industry that's ever so changing, right? So, do you guys think that it's possible? And we're gonna let's start with Cece this time. Do you think it's possible to convince these people that we talk to take the money? Or do you think it's more so about, just aligning with their interests and trying to create like a roadmap for them?
I think both answers are correct. I think it is definitely possible to convince someone to take the money, because, sometimes you can see things that someone else can't see. So if I get a restaurant owner before Christmas who wants money, and they want a certain amount of money, and I can't get, exactly what they want, but I get this. Hey, how about you use this for this instead? Like just seeing other reasons why they could use the money.
Correct.
On the other hand, too, you always want to be genuine, and you always want to be have integrity, and obviously make sure it's aligned to their values, and aligned to your values as well. So you want to make sure it's in their best interest. But sometimes I might be like, oh, hey, like you own a gym, like you could definitely add this to make your company better. It's always about improving someone's company at the end of the day. So
that's very true. Bravo. Sometimes what does happen, just to add to what you're saying, is sometimes the business owner, right, doesn't have that vision or doesn't see it because they don't think it's possible for them to get funding, right? And that's what a lot of the times when you're speaking to clients, it's just providing them the possibility. Once you pre-qualify them, allowing them to now spend that money in their head, where you understand what the guidelines are, you understand what's possible. And now, hey, Bob, listen, if I wrote you out a check for $100,000, what would you actually do with it? How could you grow your business? One thing I always ask the client, and it's just because I know what the answer is going to be, is, as a small business owner, aren't you, don't you want to keep growing? Don't you want to know what options are available for you? Don't you think that your competitors are using companies that provide alternative funding if they don't qualify, or they're looking at traditional options, or figuring out how to get themselves to become bankable? And at the end of the day, also too, is I'm sure that your business is always growing, correct? Who's going to say no to that? Your business is constantly growing. Don't you need access to funding right now? What can you actually, what can you actually better in your business, right? What can you actually go ahead and put money into, whether it's marketing to get more clients, inventory to stock up your establishment, right? But yes, it's just to add to, like I said, to add to what she said, is providing them the vision, because sometimes they lack it in a sense of they don't think it's possible.
You know what? My answer before you guys started talking was, I don't really think that you can convince anybody to take this money, to be honest. I really just feel like it's just like, hey, man, listen, you want $50K? I got 40. Like, hey, listen, you qualify for 40, bro. It's take it or leave it. You know, I feel like if you were doing like face-to-face sales or you were in retail, you could kind of convince somebody to take, like if somebody's going in to buy a Samsung TV, I feel like you could go ahead and kind of sway them to take like a Mitsubishi or some other TV or like an Insignia.
True.
Yeah, you can say, hey, listen, this Samsung over here, $750, and it's an 80-inch. Well, you got this 100 over here. That's like half the price. And I mean, listen, it's a basement TV. Who cares? Like, that's convincing somebody, right? What we do is pretty matter of fact. Dude, you do 10K a month. I got 8,500 for you. That's 85% of your monthly sales I'm giving to you in a one lump sum right now. Take it or leave it. Figure out what to do with the money. You know what I mean? But just like Jose said, Jose, but listen, we all, I don't want to say sell different. We all convey the deals different to people.
Yeah.
And that's really what the sale is. The sale and what we do is just how we structure the plan.
How you present it.
How you present it to them. And I guess that's kind of sales. That's like convincing them, right? Like
influencing
Yeah.
the decision, persuading their decision to now see it a different way.
Yeah, because you know what? A lot of these people don't end up taking revenue-based funding because they think it's a one-off.
Yeah.
They think it's just like, okay, you're gonna put 15K in my account and you're not gonna call me again? That's it?
Yeah,
That's it? The encounter's over? We're never gonna talk to you? Shit, I thought that was one of you guys laughing. But listen, it's not the first time, okay?
Yeah.
I'm gonna see you again. All right. Not only am I gonna give you this 15K, but here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna take 1,000 and I'm gonna get you into credit repair, right? And now I'm gonna remove the inquiries. I'm gonna go ahead and get your 660 up to a 680 next month. Are you showing a profit in your tax returns? Beautiful. I love you even more. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get you submitted for the bank products. Now this daily payment, because you can't afford a weekly right now, your average daily balance is way too low. But now this daily that you get now in a month when your credit report updates, you have no inquiries, you're over a 680 credit score, and you are in one of our states that we can offer you multiple different bank products. Now all of a sudden that 15K that I got you, maybe that's now going to turn into a $100,000 line of credit. Maybe it might be business credit cards at interest free for 12 months. So now that's the carrot. But not everybody might present that same fucking 15K offer the same way.
And I just want to, what you're saying is 100% correct. And I just want to use a scenario, actually, something that happened earlier this week, right? And what we talk about presentation, right? Because you remember that deal that you and Cece had, the client went to the bank, right? So what the client actually, what I think his credit score was 700 plus.
That was a heartbreaker.
It was really a heartbreaker.
It was a 700 plus credit score. The client had negative tax returns.
How much? $120,000 loss.
125 or 120? Oh, so negative 120, 124. But he banked with a small community bank, right? And understand that a lot of banks, when they're on the smaller version, or even national banks in some cases, they are relationship driven because they see how much money comes in. So they're able to give you certain dollar amount based off of the revenue that they see coming in. But what did we do? Is the client expressed that he always has a need for capital. That was his pain point.
Yeah.
I'm growing, so I always need access to funds. I always need access to money. So Daryl presented it to him as, okay, if I get you a term loan, let's say I get you $300,000 over a 5-year term, right? Great. You're happy because it's a low APR. Let's say the APR is 12%, monthly payment. Perfect. You're locked in for 5 years. Now, this is where we go as far as how to present it. It's, why would you want to take that when I can present a program to you that you're telling me that your biggest pain points is that your business is growing. So you need access to capital. What if I gave you something short term? Let's call it a 12-month term. Every 6 months, you now have access to, let's call it the same amount, $300,000. Right now, if you're in the space, that's a renewal. Now, you're giving them access to capital. They can go ahead and in some cases graduate to a better lender. There's lenders out there that forgive the entire interest if you refinance, if you move, if you're able to go ahead and take more money.
Talk that shit, Jose.
Right? So 300,000, let's say it's a 6-month term. That means that I'm giving you access to about $600,000 over 1 year. Multiply that by 5. Now I'm giving you access to $3 million over a course of 5 years when a bank locked you in for a 5-year term for let's call it $300,000. The problem is that a lot of people confuse APR with a factor rate, right? No, a lot of people, clients, and majority of the time, don't know the difference between an APR and the cost of capital, right? If you go ahead and put it into, and if you guys are facing this problem, go into what is called an amortization calculator.
Can we pull it up on the screen to just give them like a little?
Yeah, sure.
Is that I want to.
So, yeah, Jonathan, sorry, I know we were supposed to ask you the question, but hold on, let's pull it up here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we
usually do this during live dives.
We usually don't do this. It's our first time.
Yeah, how do I?
We
share the screen.
So usually we only share the screen and do stuff like this when we do our live dives on Wednesdays. But because, like I said, we're getting really excited because we have a star-studded cast up here for our business funding department. I want to just give you guys a little insight into what we went over in our. When was that meeting? That was Friday.
Yeah.
Friday we went over that, right? While Jose's pulling that up, guys. Does anybody know, like, if you guys get approved for a bank loan, let's just say you get approved for $150,000 over 5 years, and your APR is 15%. What are you guys?
Right.
What are you guys paying at the end of those 5 years? Does anybody know? Because that's really the true cost of capital. You know what I mean? Everybody's rate. They don't even understand what they're paying back on that $150,000 at the very end of that 5 years. Wait, hold on, Cheech. Can we pull up the amortization calculator that we usually use?
This is the one. Oh, you want the other one?
Yeah.
The graphics, right? I don't know which one.
Whatever. Just go with that one. Go with that one.
So this is what we were referring to, right?
Wait, hold on. You guys can all see our screen, right? You guys can see it? All right.
I don't even know if they said yes or no, but
yes.
Yeah. So look, so assuming you guys can see the screen, on the screen, and you can choose any amortization calculator. Put in the loan amount, $300,000. Let's assume that obviously it's a 5-year term. That's an average 5-year term. Let's go on the high end, right? 12%. Or if you guys want to do 11%, let's do 11% APR. You calculate that. Now, APR, right? It's annual percentage rate. On here, if you look at it, monthly payment, this is the attractive part, $6,522.73.
That's why people like
it. Now, let's go in here. This is where you can compare apples to apples if you're going to go ahead and compare it to a merchant cash advance or something short term. For the $300,000 at the end of the 5 years, the cost of that $300,000 is $91,363.62. That is a factor rate, right? Cost of money of
So we're gonna do 391,000. If you guys have your handy dandy calculators, $391,363.62. You're gonna take the overall cost. You're gonna take the overall, like the total payback. You're gonna divide that by the total loan amount, which is $300,000. That's how you get your cost of capital. That's a 1.30.
So that's the factor rate.
That's the factor rate. That means every dollar that you borrow, you're paying back $1.30.
Correct.
Now, here's the thing. With a merchant cash advance or something revenue-based.
Wait, hold on, I'm sorry, Dad, but what do we have to provide in order for us to get this? What do we have to provide?
Yes, there we go. So in order to go ahead and get a bank loan, first of all, it takes 3 weeks to a month to get done. You have to have 2 years of business, 2 years of personal tax returns. Your business tax returns usually has to show, if you don't have a relationship with the bank, you have to show profit, okay? You got to provide a year-to-date P&L, a year-to-date balance sheet. You have to have a business debt schedule because most of these banks want to come in first position. So any debt that you have out there, they are going to want to pay off, and sometimes you're not even going to net the full amount of money. Now,
what's the credit score?
And your credit score has to be a 680 plus. Now, see, here's the thing.
One more thing. What if I want to pay it off early?
You cannot pay it off early because these bank loans, they front load the beginning of the loan with predominantly interest. The interests are higher. It's higher. That's why for most bank products, there's what's called a prepayment penalty. because they don't want you to pay it off early. They want to get the majority of their interest up front. And if we actually scroll down into the amortization calculator,
Monthly schedule.
oh, the monthly schedule, click that. Oh, right there.
Sorry.
Scroll up, bang, right there.
Right there.
There we go. All right, guys. So if you guys look right there, you guys can see that the payments of interest start off very high. That means month one, your payment $27.50 is going to go to your interest. $37.72 is going to go to principal. Now, as you guys see, the interest payments are starting to go down the longer that you get into the deal. So they front load these loans with predominantly
correct
interest, right? So they don't want you to pay it off early. And if you do, they tax you, right? They not tax, but they go ahead and they hit you with like a bit of a fee. It's a penalty, right?
Penalty fee, yep.
Yes. So with our product, okay, well, I don't want to say our because we do this as well, but with the merchant cash advance, okay, we incentivize you to pay it off early because again, there's no collateral that we don't need tax returns to get some of this done. We want you to pay it off early because a lot of these investors want their money back very quickly. Unlike the bank wants to stretch it out, give you a long time to pay it. These merchant cash advance companies want you to pay this shit off early.
Correct.
Right? So with the deal that I had for this guy, apples to apples, if he would have went to the bank for what he wanted, it was going to be 12.99% APR. That ended up coming out to 37 cents on the dollar. But it just so happened that the deal that I had with the MCA, 37 cents on the dollar. Way less paperwork. I could fund you today. The bank product's going to take a significantly longer time. But the caveat, if the guy paid us off early, we were going to beat the bank. We were going to beat the bank in a factor rate. We were going to go ahead. If he paid it off early in the first month, he was going to be at a 119, 19 cents on the dollar. Month two, if he would have paid it off, he would have been at 22 cents on the dollar. Month three, he would have been at 25 cents on the dollar. The bank's fucking 37 cents on the dollar at the end of the term.
And that depends on the lender as well, right? Because there are two lenders that would forgive everything.
Yes.
Right? The remaining
100% interest forgiveness if you pay it off after month three.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So, like I said, don't tell me that my money's expensive. My money's not expensive. I just showed you apples to apples that my money can be cheaper than the bank. The thing is that these people all want term loans and lines of credit because they want to have that really, really, really low monthly payment.
Correct. And also, too, like I said before, some people just don't explain it correctly, right? Some people that are presenting it are just, hey, this is the approval amount, this is the factor rate, and this is the term. That's it, right? There's no explanation on the process. But okay, so Jonathan, let's go to Jonathan because Jonathan actually closed $100,000 deal with the bank, right? This was last month. It was $100,000. It was traditional program. How long did that take you, Jonathan? And I think you're still working for more funding for the client, correct?
Yes, correct. It took a while. I've been talking to this lady for I would say like a month and a half now. But the process itself, once we decided to move forward, it was pretty easy. It was about 2 weeks. Honestly, it took 2 weeks to close. $100,000, limited documents, no UCC on the business. Nice and easy. She was very happy. She paid us the next day. Everybody's happy, and we're still working on getting her another $75,000 right now.
Nice.
I think we frozen on everybody's stream. Oh yeah,
we broke the internet. Look at that, everybody's watching. We broke the internet.
All good.
All right, we're good.
We should be back. We should be back. We should be back. We should be back.
There it is. First time you broke the internet, huh?
Clear your cookies, bro.
There you go. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Jonathan broke the internet.
Sorry about that, guys.
Go ahead. So I'm sorry, Jonathan. You were saying?
So yeah, it was $100,000 deal. We've been talking for about a month and a half. Where I was actually trying to get her initially like a $1 million loan. She was doing great numbers, but she had some debt under the business that she didn't want to pay off. So we went to the limited document route, which just requires some tax returns, which she showed a profit on. And yeah, we got her $100,000. She paid us the next day. Easy process. She just had to talk to the banker. The banker explained the whole process of how she could get the money into her account. And now we're working on another bank to get her $75,000. Both these loans, no UCC on the business. So later on, if she does decide to refinance her business debt, she doesn't have to pay these lines of credit off.
And also, so she has real estate. So you're also working that real estate route as well. I think it was she has a property in Miami.
Yep.
One in Miami. I think in Cali, I believe as well. Correct?
Yes, sir. That I handed off to the experts on Fun Rock. I don't deal with that too much, but yes, it's like $1 million+ property in Miami.
Nice.
Right in front of the beach. Beautiful location. She does events there and stuff. So she's trying to refinance that along with her business debt. I'm still working on that.
Correct.
You know, Yella, I have to correct you for something that you said before. You said that, you know, the process is easy. I don't really think that there's anything easy about that process, but because we provide a white glove service, you literally held
seamless.
Yeah. You held the client's hand throughout the whole. You know, the thing with these bank products is you have to keep these guys on ice, right? A lot of these people that take business funding are used to merchant cash advances.
Yeah.
They're just used to, hey, take my app and my bank statements, get me approved today. I don't really like that. Well, I can fund tomorrow.
Why is it taking so long? I've heard that.
That's not really what the bank product is like. But everybody wants a bank product until they have to really go through the process.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And you know, we've had bank products that were in underwriting for 3 weeks and then it died at the last second. You understand what I'm saying? And you really have to keep the client on ice. You know, sometimes things don't go according to plan, but you got to use your pizzazz and you got to really just make the merchant really see like the end goal.
Yeah.
Right? Because if they're used to taking daily, weekly payments and all of a sudden they have a 5-year term loan for you, Susie, sit your ass down and you have to wait until, you know, until the funds hit. And it's about the white glove service is just holding their hand throughout the whole process and making them feel warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, and I've done this multiple times. We cleaned her inquiries. She had a nightmare story in the past where someone removed the inquiry of an open account that she had.
Yeah, that caused a problem.
They didn't know what they were doing. That caused a problem. Luckily, we have great relationships with the bankers, and they help us go around that issue. They spoke to the underwriters for us, and $100,000 in a bank account.
Wait, hold on, time out. So the people that removed...
Yeah, they removed an inquiry
so
an account.
Yeah.
So they deleted her whole account with that bank.
They canceled the card.
Yep.
She thought that we had something to do with
and
it.
the business side.
Yeah, she thought we had something to do with it. And Jonathan said we have a great relationship. So the banker did us a favor.
Time out, please. So what you're telling me is that like they looked at the credit report and they seen that it was a new trade line that was open in March.
Yep.
But then they went down to the inquiries. They didn't see no pull for March. They didn't see no inquiry from March because they removed it.
No, the thing is, okay, so
what happened?
When she applied for the personal account as well as the business account, they did a credit pull.
Yeah.
That credit pull, the credit repair people deleted that inquiry, which was tied to that open account.
And then she had
and they shut down her personal and
wow.
Yeah, because it depends on how you do inquiry removal. Some companies, what they'll do is report it as fraud. So when they report it as fraud, they go ahead and obviously cancel that line of credit or that credit card or whatever it is that's tied to that account.
Wow.
And that's what happened. And then finally they told us, we informed the client. Client was like, okay, yes, I was removing inquiries or hired someone to remove inquiries.
Whoops.
And they must have messed it up for me, which is great because we were able to obviously let her know that it was not something we did, because obviously in the beginning it's just pointing fingers, right? Oh, you guys did this, you guys did that. I must say Jonathan did a great job handling that client. I spoke to that client, you know, and she's great, she's amazing, but it was just I think it was she just was so passionate about her project that at times it was just a great conversation. She extended the conversation longer than what it should be.
But a real nice way
he had to
put it.
Jonathan was very patient, very patient.
All right, let's jump into what's. Oh my God, we only have 15 minutes left already. Wow. Time flies, huh?
All right, let's. Cece, you want to take us on to the next segment?
Let's do it.
No, you do it.
You sure? All right.
Cece forgot her glasses today.
All right, so it's reframing objections. Right, reframing objections. The best closers never fight objections; they reframe them. Right, so that's also important as well, and that's why we have a rebuttal book, where if a client poses an objection, you don't get frustrated, right? Because sometimes, even in the very beginning, when you're speaking to a client, you have to understand a lot of these clients get phone calls every single day.
Yeah,
you would be upset at yourself. right? But understanding how to now break down that wall, break down that barrier so that we are able to have a much better conversation with the client.
Jose, let me ask you
Yeah.
this. What do you usually say when someone says, because, all right, if somebody says, let me think about it, that's a little different than let me speak to my wife, right? So what do you usually say when a client of yours says, wait, hold on, Jose, before I do anything, let me talk to my wife?
All right, that's great. You know what? And I'm sure, and I completely understand it because both of you make the decision. But I'm sure, let me ask you a question. Just so that you can go ahead and prepare yourself ahead, what questions do you think your wife will have so that I can help you understand or help her understand or get a better answer or get a better, response? Let me assist you.
That's fabulous.
Right? And it's most people, and before I would probably like, yo, who wears the pants? You or your wife?
That's what I thought you were going to say.
No.
You're going to say, wait, hold on. Who makes the decision? You or her? That's what I
but now, but that was the old me.
The old me, okay.
Now it's more like, okay, no problem. I get it. I understand it. Both of you, now both of you make the decision. I completely understand it. What do you think your wife is going to say? Or what objections do you think she's going to have? So that I can go ahead and assist you. So I can help you out. Or, hey, listen, you know what? Great. Now I took the time and explained everything to you. Why don't we set up a call?
Yes, that's what I do.
Why don't we set up a call so that now we can all be informed, right? Because I do not want for you to present something that may be inaccurate. And obviously this way now, if there's any negative backlash, I'm the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm able to go ahead and take the blame for it, if anything, right? Maybe your significant other did not know that you were looking for money. Because sometimes it could also be a position where it could be misinterpreted as, hey, listen, is the business not doing well? Why are you looking for money? Right? So there's a lot of different interpretations. And, I tell everyone, let me be the bad guy. Let's get on the phone. We can go ahead and have a better conversation. And then if she wants to run numbers and see different scenarios, I can do it because I do this on a day-to-day. Why not speak to the professional so that we are able to go ahead and find a solution?
You know what? I have to say, you a bad man because that's fire, bro. That's fire.
Like that. You know what? I must say, I actually took some of that from TikTok. Just so you know, Tickety talk.
Yeah, one thing.
We'll talk about
one thing that I usually say. One thing that I usually say is, hey, listen, no radical, the camera. There we go. Listen, one of the things that I usually say when I'm on the phone with somebody and they say that I need to speak to my wife, right? Just like Jose said, listen, let's set up a 3-way call so that the same way that I explained it to you and you get it, why don't I explain that to your wife and you on the phone? Because listen, brother, we all get bullied by our wife. I know. I know. Listen, she's gonna steamroll you, bro. I do this for a living. Countless amount of dudes get steamrolled by their wife. Hey, honey, we're gonna no. And he's gonna come back. Before we get no, we're not doing it. So listen, brother, I know that you want the money. I'm here for you. Okay. Let me go ahead and present it to the missus while you're on the phone so you don't get bullied because you do need the money, correct? You do need this 30,000. Yes, great. Your wife just wants you to make the best decision, and your wife doesn't want to feel like you're getting sold and she could have done something about it.
Correct.
Right? And we understand that our spouse, or, even if it's your husband, your spouse is supposed to be your first line of defense. So we get it, right? But I don't need you going to try to, look all stupid in the face and try to explain to your wife, hey, yeah, we're going to take 30K. We're going to pay back daily. Like she's never going to go for it. But let me go ahead and just explain to her why this is your only option to get the 30K and what you guys are going to make off of that initial investment. And I Jose, I'm actually glad that you said that because I've heard you say before, maybe you just might have been frustrated with the client, but I've heard you say, listen, brother, who makes the decision? She's not even the owner of the business. You know what I mean? And now that I see that your ways have changed.
Yes. I say that now with just accountants and CPAs.
Yeah. I hate.
But that's another conversation. CC, let's ask CC what.
Time out. Did Yeller just become Haitian?
He did.
Yeah, switch it up a little bit.
Guys, welcome. Guys, welcome Joey G to the cast. Joey G, thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, everyone. How's it going, everybody?
Everything is good. Everything is good. Everything is good, Joe. Before we jump to CC, just really quick, because again, you're like a Swiss Army knife now in the company. You sell every product under the sun. Joe, when it comes to mortgages or some of these other products that you go ahead and offer, how is some of the ways that you go ahead and overcome the objection of the wife or the significant other?
Well, I asked the client, what is the goal here? What exactly are you looking to do? A lot of investors, it's not their first rodeo. Like they know what rates are out there. They know what closing costs are like. So, on a mortgage, I know, especially if I have a good deal, I know it's a good deal. So it's like, what else is there to discuss? Like we could all get on the phone together and discuss this. But, like a lot of people will wait. They're like, oh, I'm waiting for the rate to drop. And then they're missing out on equity, $50K, $100K of equity. Rates haven't, like they're starting to go down now, but they were the same for around 3 years. The rates were high. It is what it is. So there's people that have been waiting on the sidelines and they missed out on hundreds of thousands of dollars of equity. So.
Does it frustrate you a little bit when you have like the perfect, like exactly to the T, the perfect approval for somebody, and then they use a stall tactic anyway? Like, let's just say somebody wanted 80% LTV or whatever, excuse me, and you get the exact deal that they want, and you think it's a layup when you call them on the phone, and then somehow you get them on the phone and they're like, yeah. Think about it. Is that frustrating for you?
Of course it is. Yeah, of course. And it's infuriating, especially you put a lot of time in to get someone exactly what they asked for. But, a lot of people are just afraid to pull the trigger. They're just unrealistic. I've had people say, oh, someone offered me 5%. I'm like, oh, why are we on the phone? Why don't you go? You should close that. You should have closed that deal last week.
Take it
yesterday.
I taught you that.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds like a Jose line. Hey, listen, tell us what your options.
To be honest, like most of the mortgages I've closed, people that have I'm good, I got a better offer, and they come back a month or two later. Literally almost every single mortgage I've closed has been that. They always come back.
People are just apprehensive, especially. I feel like, especially like around this time of year. Then we're gonna jump to CC. I feel like right now, around this time of year, we should try to fund as many people as possible, because usually in December, people get a little more skeptical. People in December are a little more reluctant to pull the trigger unless they really, really, really need the money. They're going to be desperate and just take whatever they can get. But other people that don't really need the money, they always put it off to the new year.
Yeah, right? and also too, just tax purposes, some companies need debt in order for them to, their accountant will tell them, hey, you need more debt. So go ahead and take out a loan, right? Go ahead and take something else out, or whether it's a refinance on the property, whether it's a business loan, whether it's a purchase of your future receivables, which you can actually write off, right? Speak to your accountant as far as to, if I take this type of financing, is it beneficial to me tax purposes wise? Because sometimes you show too much profit, right? So you're able to write stuff off.
Wait, Jose, you're telling me that the interest that people are going to pay on the business funding, like if I give them an MCA, if I
cost on a short term.
Yeah, so if I give them $10K at a 150, which is 50 cents on the dollar, and the total payback is $15,000, you're telling me that spread, that $5,000 in interest, they can actually write off?
Yes. So what happens is remember that it's not a loan; it's a purchase of future receivables.
Yes.
You're purchasing someone is buying a non-tangible item from you, right? So you're able to write that off. Speak to your accountant so that you can understand exactly what that means and how it benefits you at the end of the day. I've had, it's not just something short-term isn't just taken by companies. And this is the biggest misconception.
Yes.
Oh, you know what? My credit score is great. Why do I want something like that? No, I've had clients that make substantial amount of money with great credit scores. They just know how to, for lack of a better word, work the system in their favor, because they are able to, they're guided and provided information by professionals, accountants, right? You've probably been to seminars where they're tax-free money, etc. There's certain plays or certain ways around certain things, and just don't become that person that just sees everything one-sided. Understand why, right? Understand why. This is the last thing I'll say, then I'll move over to CC, is why do you think that there was a big fuss when it was President Trump was, let's show your taxes. You write everything off, file for bankruptcy, this, that, and the third. You don't pay taxes, etc. It's because he was the depreciation on the buildings, right? It wasn't that he wasn't paying taxes. It was because he was able to use the loss from one of his assets to be able to get him a benefit, right? He didn't do anything illegal. It was something that's there. He just was able to take advantage of whatever that situation was, right? It's not a political conversation. It's just someone was able to use the tools that are available because it was presented to him or her for their benefit at the end of the day, right?
Yeah. Didn't whatever. No, you know what? I'm gonna say it. What wasn't another tax strategy that Big T had was he buried somebody on one of the grounds of his buried somebody on one of the grounds of his properties. So technically, it was a cemetery. Now he doesn't have to pay taxes on the money generated from that business.
Idea, but I'm about
His ex-wife, when she passed away, he had a ceremony at one of his properties, I think in New Jersey.
I think a golf course or something like that. Something like that.
And he buried her on the golf course on his property. Now he doesn't have to pay property taxes because it's
a cemetery. Yeah,
I did not know.
That's you look that up.
Yeah, look it up.
I did not know that you and him were on that level. You call him Big T.
I thought you was talking about Mr. T.
Mr.
One I did not know that you and him were like, yo, Big T, what up?
Talking about rap.
Big T, bro.
But T-Pain. But you know, I did not know that. But yes, there's a lot of things that people are able to, you know, it's not taking advantage of it negatively. It's just you're more informed and you know how.
If you know, you know. You know what I mean? And you know what? That kind of encompasses the entire episode, because kind of like what Jose's opening remarks were, and I quote, you know, information is at everybody's fingertips.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And you have to be able to go ahead and strategically use your resources. You can never complain that your opposition or the competition out there has more resources than you, bro. And this can make you $1 million a month. You know what I mean? We just got to figure out how the hell to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there's some people that are making.
That's why you have so many young millionaires, right? Because they're either going on TikTok, they're using social media, right? Just because we don't understand it, or certain people just don't understand it, right? You can't
hate on it, yeah.
Right? It's just they you know, everything from social media to AI to Bitcoin, right? Everyone thought majority of the people thought it was a scam, right? But they were young entrepreneurs that said,
buying pizzas with Bitcoin.
Right, but not even that. When think about if you invested in Bitcoin when everyone thought it was a scam.
Yeah,
right. It was a couple of dollars. Now it's those are the millionaires, right? And it was because of information, because they were open to understanding something new. They weren't just closed-minded, right? So let's go into Cece and ask, as a young individual. We're gonna ask Cece as a young individual.
No. Yeah. So Cece, what I want to ask you, and then we're going to get into our final thoughts.
Yeah.
Cece, in what ways do you think, as being one of the youngest people on the sales floor, in what ways do you think we can go ahead and use, I guess, little, like, whether it's social media or ChatGPT, just like the newer, more technological ways of being able to do business, how do you think that we can kind of incorporate some of that into what we do to make more money?
Yeah, so I think that there's a lot of different ways where we can use today's technology to enhance the company. I think this is a great company, but there's definitely ways we can like uplift it.
She's talking to you, Lucas.
I'm one of the youngest in the office, so I'm always on ChatGPT. I truly, this is embarrassing, but I do have my emails reviewed by ChatGPT. Yeah. I send my emails with ChatGPT. I send text with ChatGPT. If I have a question that I'm not sure about, I ask ChatGPT before I ask you guys. And ChatGPT for me is usually correct. I'm very big on TikTok. I watch a lot of sales videos on TikTok. I follow a lot of people in sales, and I watch them cold call all day. I watch them.
Yes, you should.
Fire.
So I think, like, we could use it more for marketing. I'm also on LinkedIn a lot too. I don't know if like anyone likes LinkedIn. Yeah, I think we could definitely use social media to promote what we do and find more business. Like you said this today, where you're like, post on your social media, get people, because there's so many people. Like, I mean, not like I'm not trying to like flex or nothing.
Flex.
Like, okay, for example, I have like 3,000 followers on Instagram.
Damn.
A big amount though. I'm not like bragging because it's not like that. But I don't know.
I know that.
But if I posted on my story like, oh, who need anyone own a business or anyone need a personal loan? I'm pretty sure that at least one of those
Correct.
3,000.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I think that just using social media as a leverage and using AI as a leverage would be really helpful in honestly anything.
No, that's a good point. That's a very good point.
Hold on, I want to flex real quick. I got 5,100 followers on Facebook. All right, I'm a little bit of an older guy. The Facebook, right? You know,
AOL.
the Facebook. I'm one of those people that have like an old VZW.net, the Verizon one.
Netscape.
You gotta put the away message on your AIM, 0% funding.
All right, listen, let's wrap this up with final thoughts. I know everybody that's watching has things better to do than to hear us talk about the tickety talk and what we can do with ChatGPT. So, Joe, even though you weren't really here on the pod, but you over there spectating, why don't you just button up your final thoughts for the episode, brother?
I think it's always good to learn, just learn new skills, new products. Like I'm learning a lot about business funding now that I'm, focusing on MCAs and business funding, term loans, lines of credit. But yeah, anything to get an advantage, learning more about AI to reach more clients potentially, to reach out to more affiliates. So you got to adapt and learn or you get left in the dust,
All right, Joe. CC?
Yeah, so I think to wrap it all up,
It's fixing for you.
so my mic has been.
I think it's good.
I think to not be afraid of adversity and not be afraid of a no, actually kind of like go into it. I don't say it, don't expect to hear a no, but the worst thing a person can do is not take the deal at the end of the day. So you're gonna, be bold and present it anyways. And also, I wanted to touch on this. I never got to, but I think that if you focus a lot on building your rapport and building your connection with your client and really learning their business and listening to them talk about what they do and what they need, I think it would be a lot more easier to go into the conversation with them because they'll be like, "Oh, hey, like it's Cece that I talked to yesterday at 5 p.m." Like they won't forget you because you were that one person that sat there and listened to why they needed the funds, and it makes hearing no a lot more easier. So.
Yeah,
I like that.
Wow.
Cheech?
Well, just staying on topic is the best closers don't, if you're a closer, don't go ahead and push a client into a decision, inform them, educate them. Because at the end of the day, like I said before, that's how you're going to stand out, right? And also present a roadmap. If they're not bankable, how do they become bankable? If they are bankable, perfect. What are the benefits of actually becoming bankable? What are the benefits of taking a term loan? What are the benefits of taking something short term? What are the benefits of taking, let's say, equipment finance loan? If they're looking to buy equipment, don't necessarily go straight into that one product, right? That's going to present that you think is going to give you the most amount of money, because sometimes you can present multiple products to a client if the client is guided correctly. So on that note, make sure that you understand the needs and understand the programs that you have available. Darryl?
Nice.
You all right?
Yeah, man. I'm starting to get really good at this, so I want to try to keep my my little hot streak going. No, but no. I mean, listen. Everything that we do every day is always about overcoming objection. Listen, they're on the phone with you for a reason. They're not seeing a client. They're not seeing a patient. They're not speaking to another business opportunity. They're on the phone with you. While they're on the phone with you, do whatever the hell you can to maximize your time on the phone with them, because you never know when you're going to talk to them again. I tell my guys and girls on the sales floor all the time, just why she's so aggressive. She doesn't want people on the phone. She didn't even hear Joe. Joe's about like a month and a half, almost 2 months into the business funding industry. And you hear him on the phone just mad relaxed, just like, yeah, all right. So, he's not letting people off the phone. Chris Schmidt's really aggressive. We got Paul. We got Mike. We have just people are becoming more aggressive on the phones, and we need to be. Listen, just like Stanley said last pod, there's always a close. There's always going to be a close on the phone. Either we're going to close them, or they're going to close you into selling you on why they don't need the product. You know what I mean? So do whatever you can to maximize your time on the phone with somebody. And listen, you guys can honestly feel out somebody on the phone. When you're presenting an option, you can almost kind of feel a little bit of apprehension. Sometimes you can feel the tension while you're on the phone with somebody. Just overcome the objections. Rip the Band-Aid off. Just like Jose says, rip the Band-Aid off. Bob, seem a little uncertain right now. What do you not like about the deal? Just jump right into it. Because at the end of the day, if you think that you're going to get off the phone to somebody and you're not confident that you made the sale, chances fucking are, dude, you did not make the sale. You know what I mean? And if you didn't make the sale, that means that you did all that work on that file for free. And I don't think that anybody up here, I don't think anybody behind the camera, I don't think anybody wants to work for free. None of us here get paid a salary. So we really only eat if we fund deals. In order to fund deals, you have to listen more than you speak. Just like Jose said. And I don't want to keep, less like Jose said, but I mean, he is right a lot of times. Listen, if you are speaking more than the client, you're never going to sell the deal. You know what I mean? It's all about listening. You can't listen and you can't listen and speak at the same time. Listen, understand their objections. Maybe you might have to do a 2-call close like the majority of us do. We will call you before and kind of feel you out, check your temperature on what approvals we kind of have right now. And then based on your answer, we'll tell you that we're going to call you back in 5 minutes, and then we'll call and we'll hammer the deal home. Maybe you guys should take that 2-call approach. But never get off the phone with a client if you feel unsure if they're comfortable enough to take the deal. Because like I said, if you feel like they're uncomfortable taking the deal and you're not certain that they want it, chances are they probably don't. Gotta go, cue me up, baby. Host Darren Mills. And right, I got Joey T. Left, I have Jose Martinez, my boy. We got CC at the very end. Oh my God,
Everyone.
we got CC at the very end.
I hope everyone can hear the music.
Hopefully, you guys can hear the music. Have a nice evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Farewell.
Listen, this is.